my goodness, so I just made the longest video ever, right, to do this pour, and I used my my little, whoops, Fine Pix, oh look at that, that was smart, my Fine Pix Fuji film. It can focus, but the Sony Cybershot I've got here does not focus worth a poos, and my phone, I don't have a way to mount it, and I don't trust it that much, so, failures! The other failure I've had is I've spent like, this is like my 4th or 5th attempt at, video number 3 or video number 4. I was trying to show, I hope you can see this, I don't know if you can see this, I was trying to show the weight of different pigments, because we have mineral pigments like titanium and raw umber and burnt sienna. Those are minerals, so they're heavier, so they act like titanium white. They'll drop down and make nice cells. But every time I try to do it, something goes wrong. I can't tell you, I've dropped like 2 canvases, then I was in the garage, and oh my goodness, it's just been one mess after another. But anyways, pouring on the cheap. I'm just going to show you the result. I don't know what else to do, because I feel like I've spent 3 or 4 hours trying to make one stupid video, and I'm sure I'm not alone. I hope you can see this. I don't know. And I'm on a cookie sheet back in the thing. So, pouring on the cheap, intro to acrylic PVA pouring. Today's budget, approximately $6.50. Paints, $1 each, more or less. I recommend to people to use these big jars and the easy pour thing. I got this from Hobby Lobby. You can also get stuff from Michael's for $4.99, about the same size. They're very heavy, so you're going to do a lot of mixing. But they will give you probably 100 of these little silly things. So why spend $1.29 100 times when you can spend $4.99 or $6.99? Hobby Lobby, I gave them credit. Don't like their politics, but have to admit that they have enabled many women across the nation to have cottage industries and to do things and, you know, express themselves, maybe escape situations. You know, that's fine. We'll give them that. I will give them that. I don't like some of their other stuff because it's hard enough for women to take care of business without being forced into. So, yes, and then I talked about the different weights. So, the umber was going to be the heaviest. The organic modern color, mineral colors go back to the Great Masters, and the modern colors are in the last 50 years, since the 30s, I suppose, where you're mixing with synthetics and with plant-based materials. However, modern paints can have toxicity, so I was recommending that you use your gloves. Then we have opaque mineral, semi-transparent, and then a transparent. A transparent's probably going to float to the top. This one did not do this today, but the cheapy Craftsmart green, in fact, took over that job. The magenta was a quinacridone magenta, semi-transparent. It did a lot of dominating. I've seen a lot of cells wanting to come through here that can't. I don't know if a torch would help that or not. I'm lucky enough I don't have one because I'm back in a flammable area, because I would probably try it thinking, oh, I'm safe on my cookie sheet. Don't do it. So we've got that. So pouring on the cheap, you will need PVA glue, various craft paints, recycled or other pizza containers. I use these to mix all the paint with a PVA, 1 part PVA to 1 part paint, and spritzed it with water. I also had to revisit my paints multiple times because we're heading into the 80s today, so I'd spend maybe 10 seconds mixing water and PVA into one and go back to another color that I thought was done, and sure enough it was tightened up. And I've also noticed that for some reason when I spray water onto PVA, sometimes it actually gets stiffer, and I'm not sure why. I have to spray a lot more of it to break the tension. So just be aware that PVA alone, it probably is doable, but it stiffens up fast because it's fast drying. So at least sheen it with a little spritz of water or a few drops of water on top to keep that medium. But once it's mixed in, it'll tighten up again. So go back and forth to your things. Let's see, you needed PVA glue, various craft paints, recycled pizza, cheese cups, or whatever you got. Don't let me drop this into my painting, I'll laugh. Popsicle sticks or similar, small trash bag or other to protect your work area. Paints used were Craftsmart all-purpose paint, and that was the dominant green there. Artist Loft clearance, I got them all at 70% off. I had raw umber, which is a heavy mineral, and that should have gone all the way down to the bottom, which it looks like it actually did. The quinacridone, I can't say that, the magenta is a mid-weight paint, and it should have hovered between the brown, the umber, and everything else, and in fact it kind of did. So we see that the magenta breaks through, and the brown created these cells in here. I really want to pull those cells out so bad because I think that funky green gold that was a transparent was really trying to fight through, but it was just too thick. Let's see, and that's all I use. Now, I also showed you a great way to take off your gloves and reuse them. I'm not going to mess with those right now because they're really messy, because I just painted with them forever. I'm hoping that this video is actually working this time. I will not give up. So I am using nitrile. I have really stubby fingers, so it's really hard for me to use rubber gloves. Rubber gloves are grippier. The nitriles have assisted me in my result of dropping my canvases, and that's been rather irritating. So anyway, so if you've taken CPR, a good way to take off gloves is to pinch from the wrist, pull out and down, gather it up, try not to touch the other stuff, then take your 2 fingers. This is a nursing thing, so I have a feeling we've got a lot of nurses that like to pour. They know this, and if you can get it out without touching anything, then you're managed to avoid biohazard. Now that said, if you wanted to reuse your gloves, you just turn them back right side out, blow them up like a balloon. Hopefully they're mostly dry and not heavily covered, otherwise you just splattered paint everywhere. And then you just put them on and reuse them. So that is my abbreviated attempt at my 5th, or I don't know. It's been really funny. But it's really warm here in the Bay Area today, and my paint should be drying fairly quickly. I have a little bit of debris. Yeah, anyways, happy day, happy pouring. I hope that you get to pour your heart out. I only included the information on the weights of the pigment. Regardless of medium, the weight of the pigment does not change. The behavior and interaction with other pigments will not change. The only reason I included that information is I'm hoping that you're not just going to stay on the cheap, that at some level you're going to want to actually understand the whys behind so that you can have more predictable pours, more planned pours. It's not going to be 100%, but at least you know that, what the heck that is, you'll at least have a plan to start with, and then you can start really paying attention and working with your pigments and working with your mediums. I recommend going 1 medium at a time, so starting out with a PVA glue is great. Also, you need to let this PVA glue cure at least 1 week to 3 weeks, just like any other acrylic, before you gloss it. I had a great pour that I did on some glass, and then I put the Liquitex acrylic, the varnish medium, the gloss varnish on top of it, and then I did my strokes, and then I did it this way, and there were these lines, and I have not been able to get through them because the moisture in the Liquitex actually reactivated the PVA glue and loosened it back up, opened it, is what they call it. So, something to note and something to be aware of, because my heart went, oh really? And I don't want your heart to go, oh man. So yeah, so just keep in mind that when you use PVA glue, don't bother sealing it even. I mean, just skip that, save yourself some money, and let it cure if you do. Let it cure at least 1 to 3 weeks. There we go. Happy, have a wonderful day. Happy pouring. May you not drop your canvases. May your tech stuff work for you. And may life be wonderful. Take care. Bye.